got kids outside practicing baseball. It is a nice day. I've got my co-host Chris here. Chris, why don't you tell us who's with us today?
Good evening, everybody. Tonight we have Dupo Stalwart, longtime, lifetime resident, Ken Phillips. Very involved, a pillar of the community. And we're here talking about his experiences growing up in Dupo and the athletics that he played. And then after we go through that, we'll touch on the park activities. And then Ken's got another appointment to get to, so we'll get him in and out of here. And Dusty and I will finish up the show with some of the things that we have coming up. So, Ken, welcome to the show tonight. I know you've been a little nervous about doing this with us, but I'm here. Welcome. We'll take good care of you. You're in good hands, and this should be a fun time. So thank you for joining us tonight. I want to start with you're a lifetime resident. You know, I'm a transplant. No matter how long you've been here, sometimes it seems like you're always a transplant when you move in here. You know, I've been here for 30 plus years, but you've been here your entire life. Tell me what it was like growing up in Dupo in, you know, the 60s and into the 70s at that time here.
Well, when I first started down here, you could ride your bike across M Station Road to the Quarterback Club. There was no interstate.
Wow.
So, and then that was in my Quarter League days. I played with Willie Johnson, was my coach most of the time through the Quarter Leagues, and for baseball. And then I got to play football down here in 1970 when football started. But we didn't actually play the games here. We were at the high school. We played our games there. I started in the midget division, which was pretty tough to start in that division because all the rest of the teams probably started when they were junior peewees, and so we didn't do real well, but we got a lot of experience. It helped us in later years. And some of the younger teams that year did very well. Doug Edwards' junior peewee team, I think, won the championship the very first year we had. At the Quarterback Club actually had football.
Right.
Played the games at the high school.
And that was 1970, you said was the first year?
1970 was the first year.
So let's go back to the baseball. You said, I know we were talking before here, before we started, and you said you won an Adam championship down there with your coach?
1968 Quarter League champs. And back then, Quarter League was big. There was a lot of teams, you know, it was the whole area where now Quarter League is basically non-existent. But, yeah, back then, 1968, the Little Legionnaires is what the team was.
So it wasn't even the Tigers back then, it was the Little...
Well, that was the sponsor of our team, was the American Legion.
Oh, the American Legion.
Yeah, the Little Legionnaires, yeah. So,
and then you played here like your entire, from Adams all the way up through juveniles. So back then it was Adams, no Adam 1, Adam 2, it was just Adam, Bantam, midgets, and then juvenile, right? And juvenile was like, what, up to 16, I think, wasn't it was?
yeah, maybe 17 or so.
16 or 17 like that, because after that it was, you either did that or you played Legion ball there for a while. What are some of the memories, some of the good times? Tell us some about some of the Father's Day tournaments. Were those going on whenever you were down here playing?
Well, not when I was playing, but when I was coaching.
Right.
I started coaching in '87, I would think, a couple of years of T-ball, and then we actually started Coach Pitch because we weren't going to do T-ball for 3 years. That's kind of where Coach Pitch got started here in Dupo. And it got moved on to Columbia, and then it was a Coach Pitch League because we weren't going to play T-ball 3 years in a row. So we started Coach Pitch, and we did that, and then in the early 90s, the Father's Day tournaments used to draw a crowd. We used to get anywhere from 45 to 56 teams from all over the area to come because these were the best fields in the area.
I know, I as a kid, you know, playing here and driving by when I didn't play here, on Father's Day, you couldn't find a parking spot anywhere near this place. I mean, that's how many teams were here. It was such a popular event. I know that there's talk here with the board members, your son's on the board here as well, that of trying to bring the Father's Day tournaments back. And I think that would be such a great thing to do for the community, is to have those tournaments come back in.
Unfortunately, they don't have the numbers that we had back then. We had plenty of numbers of our own teams for these tournaments, and it really helped having the extra teams. And then we had, you know, so many 20-something of our own teams, and so I want to tell you a little something about one year. It was like 1994. We were in the back hall at the quarterback club meeting about 6 o'clock, and I told Pop Mason that I got to send money back to 7th or 8 teams because we don't have a field for them because they wanted to play juveniles that year. And I said, well, Pop, I'm going to have to send the money back. Well, they stopped the meeting and they kicked the back door open, and they went outside, and Jude Harris and Pop Mason and I think Roy Ray and I think Joe Gagliardi was here. There were several people here, and I went to the back door and said, no, we're going to build a field out there. Don't send no money back so we could play Adam ones. And we played Adam ones on that back field back there and didn't send no money back.
But how long, you said that was a quick turnaround. They had that built in how long? How long did it take them to have?
Well, it was a Wednesday, I think it was a Wednesday night, and the tournament was the following weekend, so less than 10 days.
We talked about that.
They built the backstop and everything.
Right, away from here, they did everything within like a week and a half to, 10 days to 2 weeks to get that ready. And they actually played games out there.
Well, the Adam ones played out there, because the first few years of the Father's Day that I was involved, we did not use juveniles. We only played, up to midgets level. So we didn't need 7 fields, we only needed 6.
Right.
So that's how that field back there, I don't even know if they use it anymore, but that's how that field got there.
I think the younger ladies play softball back here now, and sometimes it's used as a team field.
The very corner one back.
Oh, the very corner one? That one I don't think they use anymore.
That's the one I'm talking about that they built in one week.
Wow. So you started playing football here as midgets, in which that would have been, what, the 7th grade? 6th grade, 7th grade, something like that, right around there?
Right.
So, and you said you guys didn't do very well because nobody here had been playing organized football before that. And one of the comments you made was that it really prepared you for high school, though. So what time, would you go into high school, about 70, 72?
Well, I graduated in 76, so.
So, yeah, 71, 71, 72 would have been, what, your first year, I guess?
Right.
Tell us about your high school football career. Was that it? Is that all that you played in high school, or did you play baseball as well?
I only played football, and it was Coach Jermaine that pushed us, and he always gave credit to the quarterback club program.
Right.
For that, for having success. And I think all the communities that had success over football almost has to look back and say, did you have a little league program or not?
Right.
Because if you didn't have a little league program, not so good.
That's the problem with this microphone.
Oh.
Go ahead, yeah,
Okay.
keep going.
Like when I was a sophomore, we played Freeburg. They didn't have little league football, at all yet.
Right.
And for years they didn't have it, and we went up there and put a shellacking on them, and it was because we had probably 10 or 11 guys on our as freshmen that played little league football.
Right.
And so.
And then what was that? You played. Coach Jermaine is a legendary name in this town for football. You're big time legends in football in this town right now are Coach Jermaine and Coach Mauser.
Correct.
And Coach Jermaine was, I know everybody that played for him loved Coach Jermaine. What was it like going through you played all 4 years for Coach Jermaine? Mm-hmm. What was it like? I know we talked about some of the other things where he could kind of keep an eye on you guys. So tell us about that.
Well, if you played football, you had to work for the carnival. Because then on the weekends, he could keep an eye on you. So a lot of the football team players worked for Coach Jermaine on the weekends in his carnival. And it was just something to do, and it was fun. And Coach Jermaine turned a lot of boys into men in Dupo.
Yeah, it was. I know that's a very reverent name in this town. I know he moved from here up to Columbia and coached in Columbia for a long time at the high school, but anytime that you talk to somebody from your era and even a little bit later, right up until the time that he left, it's everyone speaks very reverently of him. And I know for the carnival, for those that don't know, is Coach Jermaine also owned rides and things like that. And for a long time at the Dupo picnic, those were Coach Jermaine's rides that were there. The Dupo Fireman's Picnic. So those rides were always there. And like Kenny said, his way of keeping an eye on these boys was, if
you played football, I guess you had to work for the carnival so he could keep an eye on you, keep you out of trouble on the weekends.
He did.
You must have been a wild bunch.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
and
thinking.
then he'd give us a stack of $1 bills for the working for him for the weekend, and we were excited. But, and then, the first 1975 football season was the first year that the Illinois had state playoffs. Very first year. They never had state playoffs, man, because there was teams way before us that would have made state playoffs, or would have been made the playoffs. You know. But that was the actual first year, and we were excited that we made the playoffs that year, and then actually won the very first game in Dupo history in Marshall, 20-0. And then we come back here and we got shellacked.
Well, it's the first year from playoffs, and that's how it happens for.
But you don't forget that. The
No.
kids nowadays, like last year, they made the playoffs. They will never forget that.
No. And
Win or lose, how far you go, your goal in football is to advance.
right.
And that shows in college, pros, all sports, the goal is to advance.
Right.
And so advancing to the playoffs was a big step for the team this year, I think.
Right, and like you said, it's something that they'll never forget. It's one of the things that we talked about when we had the seniors in here that night. We took 24 to 26 kids. We had a winning season and made the playoffs for the first time in 10 years. That's really hard to do, and it's the same thing for you guys back in 75. First time that they had the playoffs, you'd only been playing football, organized football, for just a few years, for 5 years, and you make the playoffs. I mean, that's a tremendous accomplishment, and it kind of, that started to set the tone for where the 80s and then the early 90s team into, 1994, 96, when, the last time that they made the semis, before the decline started. You guys really kind of set us on that uphill rocket ship, towards success.
I'm not sure that that's the case, but I mean, winning just solves everything. If you win.
Well, it's like anything. Your numbers are better. Well, I'm sure the 1976 team, the year after you graduated,
I think they made the playoffs also.
I'm sure their numbers were probably better. It's like you said, winning breeds success, and it's a trickle-down effect, I'm sure you noticed it, like, when you were coaching, because after high school, I know you went on and started life and started a family, and then I know at some point you came back here to coach at the Quarterback Club.
I did.
What all did you coach while you were down here?
Well, I coached all the way from T-ball to juveniles, and like I said, 2 years of T-ball, and then the third year wasn't going to happen, so we started coach pitch, and then I coached Joe Baczynski most of the years, all the way through, and then, that was for baseball, basically. I don't know where else you want me to go.
So I'm sure you coach your boys. Who are some of the other kids that you coached that were
For baseball? On the Little League team?
Yeah.
Well, Wayne Keys was one of them, and I used to pitch at 40 feet away and throw the ball as hard as I could, and that kid would hit every pitch.
Just a monster.
Him and Josh Baczynski and Chris Clace. I shouldn't be naming them because I'm going to forget a lot of them, but I know for sure Wayne was one of them that I could not get the ball past him. As hard as I could throw it, that kid would hit it.
He's just a good
He could hit the ball.
Good hitter. Did you coach any football while you were down here as well, or?
Well, my actual very first year coaching football was for the Boosters. And then there was a get-together between the Boosters and the Quarterback Club. Steve Brown and I got together, and the program, they had a great program. Actually, it was at the Quarterback Club, then the Boosters had a great program for the kids, and then it was like the Quarterback Club wanted to get football again, so it kind of got back down here.
Merged back down here.
Yeah, and so I kind of coached my first year with Lee Weaver at the Boosters, and then the next few years was with the Quarterback Club, and coaching football is probably what I love to do more than anything. If I had my choice, that's what I would do. But I'm too old now. I'd probably have a heart attack after trying to coach.
Running up and down the sideline, screaming and hollering.
Well, I can still do that. It's just that I would get real excited.
Hey, we all get a little excited. So you had that, you lived through, growing up in Dupo, graduating from here, playing and coaching here, and not being a part of the community, and you morph that into one of the things that I know many people consider one of the crown jewels in town is the park. And I know that you were one of the driving forces behind the park, and that's something that you should be very proud of, is what you've accomplished with the park and everything that's come along with that. The splash pad now there, but there's a lot of things that go on there at the park. It's where we all get together for our functions as a town now. A lot of people have it on Main Street. We have ours at the park, and there's a reason why. It's because it's one of the best parks in the area, if not the best park in the area. And you had a lot to do with that, and I know we've got a lot of things that go on down there. So what do we have coming up this year as far as dates and some of the things that are going on? I know you brought some flyers with you to kind of go over some of that stuff.
Well, first I want to say that in 2002, I had help to get the park going. And then we needed a park. We were the only community in Southern Illinois without a park. And everybody was getting grants for a park. We weren't getting anything because we didn't have a park. So since we've put the park together, St. Clair County has been very generous to us with several grants that we've applied for lots of different things out there. So have to give them thanks for a lot of the grants that we've received from them to put stuff out there. They helped on the splash pad, which was 3 years ago. We put the splash pad in, but and then the new playground that's in there. Mm-hmm. We actually had a grant towards that. And
now that's open now, right? Because the last time I talked to you, you guys are waiting on one piece to come in, and correct. I guess it finally came in, and the fences are down, and everybody's playing now.
The fence came down the same day. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I hope the kids enjoy it. It's not the monstrosity playground we had there before, but if they want to play that, they can come down here. If you guys ever put it together.
Hey, that's
because we did kind of donate that to the quarterback club, right?
We are not the quarterback club.
I know. So I should need to talk to my son and Bobby about those guys.
Get on your son Bobby and Josh Nelson, and hey, get it together, boys.
Get it put back together down here, right?
So what's coming up? What's up next, Diane?
Well, the 4th of July.
Okay.
4th of July in Park, fireworks is on a Tuesday. We'll probably run from anywhere from, I think it's 3 to 9 with fireworks.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to put a booth in, they can contact Tammy Taylor.
Okay.
If they want to put a booth in, they can call her and get their booth in. I think the quarterback club's actually doing hamburgers and hot dogs for the picnic, so.
Doesn't the village usually do that?
Well, we used to do the barbecue, but to tell you the truth, we need organizations to do it, so we have more people involved,
Right.
We'll do it if we have to, but there's a shout out to the fire department, so.
But it's a nice thing, like you said, to have some of the other groups here in town participate in that. So having them do the hamburgers and hot dogs, so that it frees the village up to maybe do something else. So, do
well, we're all old. We just want to hang around and smile,
You guys to enjoy it.
30 or 40 years ago, I'd be right there frying the hamburgers.
You're saying you put in your time? Ken, is that what you're saying? Hey.
I like to come down here now and watch.
Right.
Ken has put in his time. That's
You can come down here with your grandpa now and watch the kids and
babysit and then bring them down here and,
spend money on them. That's how grandpas should be. So we got the 4th of July picnic. That's on Tuesday, July 4th. Fireworks are when it gets dark, which is about 8:30, 9 o'clock. What's coming up later on in the year? When's the splash pad opening up?
The splash pad's going to open up Memorial Weekend, but if it stays warm like this, don't be surprised if you don't see the water running on Saturday and Sunday a little earlier, just because we can.
Right.
I mean, there's no set rule. We have to wait till that weekend. So,
sure.
I mean, I think last year we opened it up a couple weekends before, just, because the water's running there. We've had it maintenance and it's ready to roll.
So it's ready to go. Honestly, I don't have small kids anymore. So is there a cost to get into the splash pad? What does all that entail? It's all free?
Splash pad's free. We just ask that the parents be the chaperones and keep the kids from running and be safe and have fun.
make sure that they're taking care of
Yeah,
their own
the parents
responsibilities.
need to chaperone their kids that when they're there.
Okay. And then what's some of the other events coming up after that, like,
Well, don't think we have anything again until the chili cook-off, which is the third Saturday of October. Oh, no, I'm sorry, we have a back-to-school backpack movie night that Tammy's got planned here for August 5th.
and folks, if you haven't been to one of those are so much fun. You get together, you get your family out, you scope out your spot, and
Watch a movie.
they watch a movie. There's popcorn and hot dogs and sodas,
Free.
and it's all free. And it's such a great family event. And it's a Saturday, August 5th at the park. It starts at the school supplies and stuff are handed out at 8 o'clock, and then the movie starts at 9. Aren't there usually some attendance prizes and stuff like that as well, and for the kids and stuff?
Yeah, whatever we can get, I'm sure there will be
Right.
some, but
Things that are donated
but
and
most
stuff.
kids are getting a backpack.
Right.
They're getting a backpack full of school supplies.
Right, so they get a little head start and saves the parents just a little bit of money. And then the chili cook-off, you said, is the third weekend in October?
The third Saturday in October.
Okay. And that's, hey, folks, again, listen, there's some really, really good chili that comes in here. And we've got some craft people that come in. There's a good wine spot there too. Not that I've had any of that, but I'm just telling you, there's a good wine spot that those folks come in from Fox Creek, I think it is.
That's why we don't do podcasts from the...
You're right, yeah. By the time we started podcasting, we'd be half liquored up, and then that's...
Well, if you find the wine bottle.
Right, yeah. There's a few samples. Well, Ken,
And then we have a Halloween in the park the weekend after that, which I'm not real sure all the details on that, but there'll be more flyers coming out later on that.
Okay.
And then one thing we're kind of excited about is this will be our third year for our Christmas lighted parade. That actually ended up down here last year with Santa Claus and the Grinch, and we're going to continue that, and I'm sure that'll be even bigger this year, that parade, I hope.
and that was, I know it was really well received last year. I heard nothing but great things. Are we doing the Christmas tree lighting in the park again?
Well, instead of doing the tree lighting, we're doing this parade now.
Doing a parade, the lighted parade instead, okay.
Yeah, we did used to do a Christmas tree lighting back in the day,
And
but,
then COVID kind of wiped that out with everything else, and
yeah.
so now that last year was the first year for the lighted parade.
No, this will be our third year.
It's the third year.
This will be our
But
third.
it was the first year everything ended up down here. But you're planning on ending down here for,
Right, because this will be a little warmer in here.
right.
Because you're talking during Christmas, this is on December 9th, it could be kind of cold out in the park.
Right.
That was the whole thing of the Christmas tree lighting was great, but the weather. If it's sub-zero weather, who's going to come out?
Or sleet and the rain.
Right, nobody, but people did, but I mean, so it just makes more logic to end up at a place like this.
It's awesome that the
Warmer.
Women's and Quarterback Club come together.
Right, and it was, I think we've talked about it on some of the other, on a previous podcasts, that there were like at least 300 people in here. So, I mean, like you said, I'm sure that this year's gonna be even bigger. Josh is busy adding some stuff. I personally know the Elsa that will be here this year, so, my daughter's gonna be Elsa this year, so.
Well, what'd you tell me for then? I'm gonna have to guess. You just spoiled
Well,
it.
that's okay, I'm like a kid with a
Yeah,
present.
you just can't wait.
Here, I'll tell you what it is too. But, thank you for coming in here.
Well, I do want to just back up just a little bit.
Go ahead.
Back to
It's your show.
coaching after the quarterback club. I got to coach 5 years. Coach Dobb asked me to help with the sophomores.
Okay.
And actually, those 5 years of coaching was my favorite 5 years I ever had coaching at the sophomore level.
With
Vernon Ferry.
With Vernon Ferry?
Yeah.
And I know you.
Vernon was the defensive coach, and of course, I was Mike Marks Jr. That's what he called me, because even Coach Dobb would say, Kenny, we don't have that play. I said, well, we do now. Our team does, because I used to make up plays a lot, every week. I'd
So you
come
make
up
up
with
something new?
every week.
Well, and that's one of the things that we,
But Vern was I know you're gonna have a show for him.
Yeah.
I'd love to be on that and say a few words. Everybody loved Vern.
Yeah, we are setting that up, like we've talked about. I knew Vern. I didn't get the chance to coach with him, but I played some baseball down here with him as adults. And then, got to know Vern a little bit. And I've said it before, nobody will ever be Mr. Mason. Well, nobody will ever be Coach Mason. But if there was ever another guy that was going to take that mantle, it was Vern Ferry. And, our life cut short on a really good man, and we're going to have a memorial podcast for him down here. We'll get together some people that knew him really well, that played with him, that coached with him. You're going to be here. I know we've talked about that, and you expressed interest about being here. That's going to be a really good show, and that I want to make sure that we do that right. So we're going to take our time setting that up. We're still getting some things coming in from some other people, and I'll stay in touch with you, and as soon as we have that date set, we're going to start getting it out on the podcast. So,
Man, that 5 years with that trio, that had to be wild, huh? That coaching trio you had there.
At the high school?
Yeah, your 5 years high school.
Well, it was me and Vernon had the sophomores,
Yeah.
and that was really, really a great group of kids. And if I start naming them, I'm going to forget half of them. So
What year was that?
I'm saying 2000 maybe,
yeah, what's the early,
like maybe in the 2000s, because my son graduated in 2000 as a senior, and I was still coaching sophomores. So 98, 99, 2000 seasons. So,
in that range?
yeah.
So some pretty good football, and you said you went undefeated one of your years there, right?
We did, but the thing was, back then, we had a freshman team,
Yeah.
a sophomore team. You could have had a JV schedule, but they didn't play it all the time because, you don't want to get all your players banged up for the varsity game.
Right.
But it'd be nice if the kids would put their cell phones away this year and join up.
Yeah, exactly.
And get out and play football. I'm a big football guy, but my granddaughter loves soccer.
Yeah.
So, and I got people
That
bugging me.
hat trick I've seen, 3 goals in 1 game.
Exactly, and I got people bugging me, why don't the park have soccer? That'd be great.
Right,
Why don't
right.
somebody start a program like Waterloo's got, and let's do it. And the more for the kids, the better.
Right.
Kids aren't football bound like they used to be back in the day. I mean, back in the day, you played football or you didn't do anything because you didn't have a cell phone to go home and look at. You didn't, you weren't watching videos.
Right.
You were out in the street, playing sandlot football, and then when you could put the pads on, you did it.
Right.
Tim, you've seen some of the seniors that were on this year's team. Those guys carried the spirit. They were very
I would have loved to coach some of them boys.
I bet.
And I also would have liked to ran behind some of them because there were some big boys out there.
Yeah, Ryan, you've seen that lineup here. We had the offensive line.
They had some big boys, yeah, that'd have been awesome to run. Although my line was pretty good size back in the day too, and I ran behind,
You would have had, so the undefeated year would have been, is that the Kyle DeRossett year that he was running?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Kyle DeRossett and, you know what, I think we might have lost one game that year. I don't think we did go undefeated. I have to think about it.
I thought there was a freshman team that went undefeated back.
The only game, that year, I might reach back and think a minute, I think the only game we did lose was in triple overtime.
Oh, my gosh.
So it was a brutal game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was Kalen Lambert and
Yeah.
Kessler,
And those kids.
Slumber, I think Slumber made it, no, I don't know if Slumber was on, but there was a good group, that was a really fun group of kids that I coached that year.
Right.
I had a lot of fun with those kids.
That was
And then-
the 03-04 playoff team eventually, right?
Probably, yeah, I would think so. But, what was that, Steve Novak?
Yeah, Steve Moore.
Well, I didn't have Steve on that, he was not on that sophomore team.
Okay.
He was older, he was a little bit older than that.
Right. All right. Well, Ken, thank you. I know that you've got to run out. You've got another function to go to tonight, and he's supporting Dupo Athletics tonight.
We'll go up to the 5th Street and get your Queen of Hearts tickets.
We definitely got to stop.
Even though you may not win the night, you don't know. You don't know. I mean, I think it's down to, I think they had 7 or 8 cards drawn so far, so I think the jackpot last week was, I'm just guessing $3,500 maybe?
Something like that.
And then they have a 50-50. I mean, go in and throw a couple bucks in there and you never
And it's
know.
just a fun atmosphere down there.
Right, and that's it. The guys, the ownership there, they're very welcoming and very supportive of everything. So go down, get your Queen of Hearts tickets, support Dupo, and that's not really just Dupo Athletics, it's the other clubs there as well that the Booster Club supports, so, but mostly the athletics. And
I want to back up also on the park for a minute. We're looking at a volleyball net out there in the grass. Some of the high school girls have came to our meeting and requested that they would like to have a place to practice, so we've ordered a volleyball net.
Is it going to be sand or just on the...
No, we're just going to put it in the grass so we can move it around we would like to put a pickleball court out there, but I'm afraid the traffic's already too bad.
It is a big traffic pool, or pickleball will pull a lot of traffic.
I know, and the basketball courts there, that area of the park already draws a huge crowd for the neighboring people that live there, but it's not saying we couldn't build a court somewhere else, but I mean, if people's ask about pickleball, so that's my answer. I mean, how much more can we put in that?
How awesome is that to have as a village problem? We've already got enough people coming to this park. I mean, most places are looking to bring people to the park, and we've got
plenty of people. There's always kids down there, and families, people walking the trail.
The trail's unbelievable too. I mean,
the parents need to be the boss at the park.
Yeah.
We don't have chaperones out there. The parents need to chaperone their children and keep them from running and jumping and pushing and everything that they would not want their kid to happen to their kid.
Right.
And because we're not there to police that, so we just want everybody to go out there and have fun and be safe and
have a good time.
And have a good time. Just like down here, we want the kids to come down here and play ball.
Right.
So.
Yep. Okay, thank you very much. Hopefully it wasn't too painful for you tonight. And then we will definitely have you back on because there's so much, like I told you before, in the text.
I would love to come back on and talk about the history of the Little League football from the very beginning that I remember.
Right, and we'll set that up and we'll get, so it's not just you, we'll have a couple other folks in here that know a lot about that as well. And then we'll sit there and have a good roundtable discussion about it. But thank you for coming in and trusting us tonight to come in here and sit down and have this conversation. It's been a lot of fun. And, I didn't realize that you played for Coach Jermaine. So, that's something new that I learned. And like I said, I've been here for 30 plus years. So, but thank you for coming down there. Good luck going to the Queen of Hearts tonight.
Hopefully my wife's over there buying tickets.
Right. And $2 tacos.
Right.
Yeah, $2 tacos.
$2 tacos.
Yep.
Okay.
Can't beat that.
All right, well, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. We'll see you soon.
Yep. I'm going to slide over there when he heads out.
Yep, all right. And don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to go over some of what we've got coming up, not just on the podcast, as community events. One of the first ones coming up soon is on May 20th. We are going to have the citywide yard sale. And in that, during that day, if you get hungry while you're out yard sailing, stop by Christ United Church of Christ, and they're having a worship party there. So please take some time and stop by there, get some good food, and talk to your neighbor, and then go out and finish up yard sailing.
I'm excited for it. I seen they had sausage, bratwurst, mashed potatoes.
Yep, like a true German Wurstmarkt.
Yeah. So that's awesome. What is the Dupo German heritage? I mean,
there's a lot of German heritage here in this town. Yes, I know my in-laws are all Germanic descendants. The Smith family.
Strong German.
So there doesn't get much more German.
Yeah, right.
One thing that Dusty and I wanted to talk to everybody about tonight is, this Thursday, we have a very special podcast coming up.
Yes.
Please make sure that you tune in. We are fortunate and honored to get to sit down and talk to Officer Pat Carrier, who went through a horrific incident earlier this year, who is doing very well on the mend right now. But he approached us and wanted to come on, and we talked to him today to finalize it, and it's this Thursday at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, yes.
So make sure you please tune in and sit down and support support those that take care of us and protect us when we're sleeping, and so that we can go about our lives.
And support the fact that he's even here to sit down with us.
Yes.
Thankful for that every day.
Every day, thankful that, he is alive and on the mend and able to sit down and talk with us.
Yeah, it's awesome. We were at the firehouse not long ago. It's amazing to meet people in the community that do these things and that make it a better place. Our page is all about people that make Dupo a better place, and our first responders definitely do that.
For sure. And, they are truly the backbone of any community, are the first responders, your fire, EMS, and police units that respond to things that most of us never ever think about happening in our lifetime. They see some of the worst and some of the best of life, and they don't always get paid the best money to do it.
Right.
So,
exactly.
they're always out there willing to put their lives on the line, whether it's going into a burning building or in situations like Officer Carrier where you're facing down life or death situations.
Yeah, and then just to plug the fire department again, they're starting an Explorer program, which is awesome.
And my son went. He is one of the few that are. He actually dragged a few of his friends with him. They started the program last night. They were there from 6 till just about 9 o'clock, learning everything on one of the trucks on truck 2012 that we sat behind.
Yeah.
So they did an in-depth dive on what tools were where, what they were used for. They got to get up on the bumper and see the controls. Thank goodness they didn't let them operate on the
I've met
controls
some
yet.
of them.
Yeah,
They're rough crowd.
You've met my son. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
But so that is super, really, really good thing to give our young people.
It's a difficult age group, isn't it, to try to find things to do? 14 to 18, that's where we struggle.
Right, and because we don't have a lot for them.
Right.
You have the park, but there's nothing structured at the park.
Quarterback Club's doing more for them.
You have the Quarterback Club that's, really making an effort to get back into being a prominent face of the community. But we need other things because we need more than just one or two things. We're a small community. We need to be able to keep an eye on our kids and keep them safe, and that's one way to do it, is to get them into the Explorer program that shows them about serving the communities and being, it's another form of being on a team.
Right.
You talk to any guy or any man or woman that's a firefighter or an EMT, that's a family.
Right, exactly.
It's not just a team, that's a family.
Right, exactly. They do things together that most of us would never do, so it's pretty incredible. Speaking of family, that's kind of what we're doing here, Chris, is trying to bring things to Dupo like that, to be the voice for things like that, right? For the fire department and for things for our community, and I've noticed other places and other people in Dupo being more visible on social media. I see the school's been posting a lot. I think that's awesome, and we want to continue to do that. We want to continue to be a positive voice for Dupo. I think what makes me and Chris so special is that we're kind of at the opposite end of schooling. You've got a daughter that just went through, and I've got one on her way in. And
right. Yeah. Allison just graduated in 2021, and your daughter's in pre-K right now.
Yeah, Miss Hodges pre-K class. So he kind of, we kind of are happy to do this and happy to make some changes. We've talked on a personal level about Dupo and it being all about, like Kenny was talking, parents, and what parents put into this and what your kids put into this, and you can have a successful career here,
Well, it's what we talk about all the time. We see kids that they either move here when they're young or they're born here, and they go all the way through school up through either 6th grade or they get through junior high, and then they move for quote unquote better opportunities. And what I don't think that what everybody realizes is that it is what you as a parent and as a student put into it. Because it's the old saying when computers were out and coding was first coming out, it was called programming, and there was the adage of GIGO, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So it's what you put into it. If you don't put the effort into it, you're not going to get the results that you want to see. It's just like me losing weight. I've not done a whole lot of good things for that.
Right.
So I put garbage effort into it so far, and I've not seen any results, and I'm not going to.
A positive effort, we arranged our chords tonight.
I'd say Dusty made sure that everything was organized and together, so it all fit nice and
It
neat.
took 10 minutes to set up tonight. There wasn't untangling. When the seniors were here and they were watching me untangle those chords, I'm like, look at this guy. Jeez.
But one thing going back to the school is, one of our seniors this year just committed to Wash U.
Right.
I mean, that's not an easy place to get into.
Right, exactly.
We have students at Michigan State.
Yeah.
We have students at U of I.
Yeah.
We've got students at UMSL. I mean, we're not sending kids to small schools.
Yeah.
Connor Smith's a shining example. He could have went anywhere he wanted to go.
Yeah.
He decided that he wanted to be a welder, but he could have played football at Wash U. They recruited him. He had a ton of offers for places. So, there's opportunity here for kids. But it's what you put into it. If you have to be, I know for me personally, every time that we went into a new grade, even if I knew the teacher from the year before, it was, I'm very involved. So, as parents, my wife and I are very involved. If there's an issue, contact us.
Right.
I don't want it to become an issue and say, well, your kid is this, your kid is that. And I still get calls, and my son is, he's 14 years old, and he's feeling it. He's a typical teenage boy with, a lot of testosterone running through his system. And not oftentimes, but about 3 or 4 times a year, I get phone calls from the school. And anymore, I just pick it up and I say, what do they do now?
Which one was it?
Right. But they know that they can contact me, and we're going to make an effort to change and mold him into, hey, it doesn't always have to be handled that way.
Yeah.
And that's just the effort that it takes.
Yeah. I go thinking about them seniors again and how awesome it was to have them and how they are moving on to the next chapter. But to think that we're going to have kids at Wash U and tell them the stories of Dupo.
Right.
You're going to have kids at these big universities that came from Dupo with good memories of putting the school for sale.
Well, think about a student at Michigan State, and everyone's, hey, where'd you go to school? Dupo.
Dupo.
Look at that.
How do you spell that? Yeah, exactly. So I think it's great. I think things are going good. The school year is wrapping up. I was lucky enough to meet a lot of the seniors, and it was a great school year, I think, all the way around. Ready for football to start back up?
I'm ready. We start summer workouts in June, probably the second week of June. We get 3 days a week. Based on IHSA rules, we get 3 days a week of contact with the kids. But we start putting in everything, and hopefully, knock on wood, with our success from last year, that we'll get more students. We've tentative numbers of between 35 and 40.
Yeah.
If everybody that says they're going to play plays, that's what we're looking at. And that allows us to have a JV team, which is super helpful because it gets a lot of kids that wouldn't play on a Friday night some experience, and it keeps them engaged. A lot of times kids don't get to play a whole lot on Friday nights, and then they may get a little discouraged.
Right.
And what I say is, get more people out. The more people we have, the more success we have, the more people we'll have. And that allows us to have, maybe open up into a freshman team and then a JV team. So get active, get involved, come out and have fun, earn a letter, earn a pin, and be a part of a family, because that's really what we strive to be. We don't treat these kids like they're just athletes.
Yeah.
We treat them like they're part of our family.
Yeah. Well, you've seen the seniors up here. I mean, they said they didn't even have to talk about each other, because they're like, oh, we're all family up here.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. I hope a lot of kids sign up and play. As far as us, we're kind of taking off too with our podcast, Chris. We're getting, we reached like 17,000 people in a 30-day span, which is pretty good. We are going to start filming a small commercial for our podcast.
Yes, we are.
We're going to be around some Dupo locations here soon, and we are growing with the hopes of the bigger we get, the better our voices are for our village, right?
Right, the better our podcast gets. And the more things that we're able to do within the community as well. Oftentimes we're limited by just getting started. We're in our baby steps right now still, but we're up to 782 followers?
Yeah, we need more followers. What's weird is we have so many more viewers than we do followers. So people are sharing it and other people are viewing it, but then they're not following the page.
Smash the like and follow buttons, folks. Smash the like and follow buttons.
You heard them.
Plus, we're getting, as we move forward, we're getting our podcasts uploaded onto YouTube as well. So once that's solidified and everything's up, we'll post a link to our Facebook page, and then you can go and find them on YouTube. Like Dusty said, we're also on Spotify, Stitcher.
Stitcher, Amazon Music, Google Music, Pandora.
On Pandora too?
Yeah, Pandora.
I know that.
Yeah.
Look, I didn't even know something.
I know. It's unbelievable. Chris, you're supposed to be the wealth of knowledge for us.
No, you're the tech guy.
If you start slipping, we're in trouble.
We're in trouble. We're in trouble, buddy. Just ask my wife. I don't remember anything.
Yeah, a couple things to wrap up here. June 3rd is their Ultimate Frisbee Tournament. They're looking for some more teams here at the Quarterback Club. If you guys want to play, I'm assembling the team of the first round exits. We don't plan on a very bright future. If you have
Zero
athletic ability and love to not breathe heavy, then I'm the team for you. We just plan on showing up.
Looks like I'm going to have to be a part of that team.
Yeah, and also we're trying to get a softball team going. We challenged a Waterloo page to a softball game, and while they haven't responded very well, we are definitely going to have, as long as the Quarterback Club board approves, we're trying to put a softball game together of the Traveling Todds, which would be our Dupo team, named after the great one himself.
Right. Todd that gets around town and the future mayor of Dupo.
Todd is a legend, and we speak about all these great people, but one day we will see a statue of Todd.
Statue of Todd right by the welcome sign in town.
Welcome to Dupo.
And there's Todd standing there.
So, all right, well, anything else you want to cover?
We covered June 3rd, the softball game. Hopefully the Waterloo page responds and that they actually decide that they want to accept our challenge.
We're calling you out.
Hopefully Josh was working on getting the police versus fire department softball game.
Yeah, he's still working on that. We don't have nothing official on that yet. I think that's about it. We're still, just to let everybody know, we talked some with Mr. Phillips about the show for Vern Ferry. We're still, like you said, we're going to do that one right. We're going to have a group of people that are going to input on that. So that'll be coming later. We are still going to do a segment with Mr. Mason, which will be later.
Right, which is traveling. What was
On the road with
Coach Mason.
He wants to actually go to some locations and point some out, and I will tell you guys that his first stop plans on being Old East Condolet when it was called something else. I can't remember. It was like a B or something.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he would definitely know if he was here, but I don't. But anyway, so that's exciting. That's all I've got.
Again, May 20th, it's coming up in about a week or so, a week and a half, is the Dupo Community Yard Sale. Also the Worst Mart at Christ United Church. And if you need any info on that, just we'll post it to our page, and you can go there. We'll post a picture of the flyer to our page, and make sure you stop by, say hello, and do some good yard selling. But other than that, we will see you Thursday.